Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is Reconstruction and Reunification of the South after the Civil War. And we're fortunate to have with us to talk about this very, very significant and important historical topic, Dr. Revis Mitchell from Fisk University. And of course, Dr. Mitchell, let me welcome you to the show this morning.
Thank you, Dr. Haynes. It's a pleasure to be invited.
And to tell you, Dr. Mitchell, how indeed happy we are to have you here. This is the beginning of a new season for us, and we've had you on just numerous of times, a number of times, yes. And each time, as we said before, you bring us such excellent information. As a matter of fact, we often think about the video that we did with you on slavery and the Emancipation Proclamation and all of those things. And so what we'd like to do today, Dr. Mitchell, is to recognize that this is really the beginning of the voting season here, and so to sort of bring a topic in that would deal with the suffrage and the whole problems that came out of the Reconstruction of the South. But before we get into that, Dr. Mitchell, let's have you to give us some information about your background, your education, and what in a real sense motivated you to do the things that you're doing.
Well, thank you, Dr. Haney. It's been wonderful over the last almost 30 years now. I've been on the faculty at Fisk for 20 years. I'm a native of Nashville, educated in the Catholic and public schools of Nashville, attended undergraduate school at Fisk, and did a master's degree at Tennessee State and a doctoral degree at Middle Tennessee State. But I guess this morning I'm going to rather surprise you. I was looking back over some notes, and 30 years ago this year in 1972, I was invited to Vanderbilt to hear a young professor who they had brought there named James Haney.
Okay, that's a long time. That's
I was brand new faculty at MTSU, and you reach a point in life where you're looking through your notes and papers. And there was a young man there with a large afro and a dashiki named James Haney, and I was down at MTSU. We were beginning our teaching careers.
That's exactly it. And of course, that's what when we met one another.
That's right. That's
been a long time.
So it's been, I think, good over the years. The things we've discussed and really the popularization of history. It's really made the teaching of where students come to college now with a great yearning and desire to know about our national past. Since September 11th, one year ago, or year 2001, Americans have tried to find their place in the world. So it's still a thrilling profession discussing American history, and particularly African-American history.
Okay, I'll tell you, Dr. Mitchell, let's talk about the period of Reconstruction, the period that followed immediately after the war. And I think you noticed that when we introduced the topic today, we said Reconstruction and reunification of the South after the Civil War, and et cetera. Let's talk about that, and let's have you to start talking about it by talking about what you consider to be the Reconstruction period in American history, and sort of bring our audience into what we're doing.
The Reconstruction period is one of the most vital periods in the country's history. Generally, when history is taught, high school and college level, we teach it from exploration to 1865. We pick up with the war and Reconstruction. I tell people the Reconstruction period did for me as an African American what the end of the American Revolution did not do. It provided me with the vote. It freed me. So it's what we call a watershed event in United States history. What we sometimes don't realize is that it was a great political struggle. So a political struggle between a North and a South that had been engaged in war for several years. But it was also a political struggle between a president and the Congress. Reconstruction was not easy. Reconstruction was not intended to be easy. Abraham Lincoln, who really did not believe the country could be divided by war, wanted to make the Reconstruction process quick. He wanted the country back in place. He couldn't deal with a disunited Union. But members of his own party, the Republican Party, who had fought that war, disagreed. They wanted to make Reconstruction of the South by Southerners virtually impossible. They wanted to collect emotion from a war effort. They wanted to punish the South. So as much as Reconstruction may be painted as reunion, before there could be reunion, there had to be a bit of disunion. As the young people said, we had to pay for the crimes. And in the eyes of Northern Republicans, radicals within Lincoln's party, the crime had been ever leaving the Union. So there's a struggle. Reconstruction is a point of struggle. Politics, Lincoln initially wanted 10% of the South, 10% of those who had voted in the election of 1850 to swear allegiance. But then you've got to look at who voted in 1850. Women didn't vote. Certainly black people didn't vote. And those who didn't own land didn't vote. So only a small percentage of those actually voted. Of that, he only wanted 10% to swear allegiance, and he would declare states reunited.
Now, is this what they meant by Lincoln having what might be considered a very, very mild and
very
sympathetic policy toward the South?
And really, it was towards the South, but really it was his support of the Union. He wanted that Union back and functioning. This is what he'd argued the war was fought about, and many people miss the fact that the war wasn't fought as much about slavery as it was about maintaining the Union.